Hello everyone. Today I'll be talking to you about root chakra. And root chakra is also called as base chakra or also Muladhara chakra. And if you haven't heard about chakras, chakras means energy centers that you have within you. You know, you can't really see it, but these are like invisible chakras, like energy centers you have inside you. And sometimes there'll be imbalances in these chakras, and which create like when you have imbalances, there'll be problems that you will encounter in your life. So it's very important that you have a balanced chakra. So you have it's like you have a it's important like for you to have a very harmonious life. It's very important that your chakras are in balance. So today I'll be sharing with you 12 ways that you can figure out the signs that you have an imbalance in your first chakra. Okay, first of all, let's talk about why there'll be a imbalance in the first chakra. The number one reason is like how the first chakra can get blocked is by fear. And as someone who didn't have a very let's say a safe environment as a child growing up, like let's say the child was growing up in a war zone area, and things like that could really create a real imbalance in first chakra. So if you take in, like, I grown up in Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka we had war until 2008. So I definitely born into a country where there is war, and I really had many imbalances in first chakra growing up, and I had to really think about this chakra and really balance it, you know, to work on my first chakra in order to balance it. So let's talk about what are the symptoms that you can figure out whether you have an imbalanced chakra. First chakra. So first one is if you don't feel safe in the world, and if you feel like the world is a very dangerous place to live in, I could say that's the first sign. You know, if you feel like this is a very dangerous place, and it's like people are like, it's like a dog-eat-dog world, you know, just not so safe to live. And you're constantly, like, let's say you're walking on the road, and you feel startled, like every single small thing that is happening on the road and things like that. And that's a clear sign you have an imbalanced chakra. And so this could be another reason why, like maybe like there's a like, let's say you had a very not so safe environment growing up, like as I mentioned, like you were growing up in a war zone area, and you had to really go through really traumatic events as a child. You had to see really traumatic things happening right in front of you, maybe like someone getting murdered in front of you, things like that, and you feel not so safe in the environment. And so that is, I could say, the first chakra. And someone who has this will be constantly in fear. You know, even when they go out of the world, they will be constantly in fear that something could happen, and someone could do something to me, and things like that. And then the second sign is if you're often worrying about money, and you feel like you don't have enough money, that is another sign. So if you're constantly thinking about money and constantly worrying about money, like constantly thinking about how I'm going to pay the next month's bill and things like that, that is another sign that you have a very imbalanced first chakra. Because I told you, this is like the survival chakra. So money is a huge component, because money gives like some stability into your life, because it takes care of your survival needs. And so if you're constantly thinking about money and worrying about it, oh my God, I don't have enough, how am I going to take care of my needs in the future, and how am I going to pay my bills next month? And if you're constantly thinking and worrying about these things, these survival things in your life, that is another sign you have an imbalance in the first chakra. And then the next sign would be if you feel constantly anxious, if you're constantly living in your head, I could say that is another sign of an imbalanced first chakra. Someone who is living constantly in their head would definitely feel very anxious. That means the person is not so grounded. They're constantly living in their head, thinking about either their future or worrying about the past. So there's no grounding. And the first chakra, it's all about getting grounded. Like once you're getting grounded, you have some very you have some real stability to your life. And this first chakra, the element would be earth. Like first chakra, it's about your roots. That's why it says even the root chakra. How rooted you are into the earth, how grounded you feel. Like if you take in a plant, the plant is grounded, like through the roots. It gets the strength. More it goes, let's say the roots, roots go very much deeper into the ground, then the tree can go higher and higher. So how these roots really give you stability to go higher. And if you feel very grounded, you can go up in your other chakras and start really going up in the ladder. So that's another one. Let's say if you feel really anxious, the third sign is if you feel anxious constantly, and if you are worrying about constantly about things, and you feel anxious about the future, and that is another sign. And you're constantly living in your head, you don't feel grounded, and you're constantly getting stressed out about the situations that is happening in your life, that is a definite sign. So yeah, because I remember there was one time, I was some 10-11 years back, I was constantly in my head. I was constantly in my head to a point that I realized that I was really missing out the present moment. I was trying to be in the present, I couldn't. So it's very important. That's why sometimes people try to do the spiritual work, but they haven't done the background work for it. So they can't really practice. They can't be in the meditation. They can't be living in the moment. So that's why it's very important you're doing the background work, so that you have some relaxed mind, some stability, some stillness for you to go deeper. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for you to do the inner work, especially in terms of spirituality. And then the fourth one is, if you were neglected as a child, very likely you have imbalances in this first chakra. Because if you were neglected as a child, if your needs were not met, needs were not taken care of, it's very likely you have imbalanced first chakra. So so that's why it's important, like if you had a neglected childhood and now like as an adult, now you need to take care of it. Now you need to attend to those needs and you need to take care of that inner child. And so that is the fourth sign. Like if you were neglected as a child and if your needs were not met as a child, that is a sure way that will definitely create imbalance in the first chakra, because if you were neglected, so you wouldn't really feel safe as a child. So this will be bringing up even to your adulthood. It doesn't matter that as a child you didn't feel safe, so it will definitely go to your adult life as well. And then the fifth sign is like if you are constantly struggling with weight, and I have even talked to you about like my binge eating story, and if you want to check that out, I will put the link down below so you can check it out, my binge eating story. And this was another reason, like I was also like struggling with weight issues for many years. And so that is another sign that you don't have a very stable first chakra, balanced first chakra. If you're constantly having weight issues and you have you feel safe through eating food, that is one thing which I've noticed in many women actually, that they get comfort through eating food. But you can see that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really resolve the issue. It creates more issues in your life. So it's very important you directly deal with the problem, And the reason why you just try to get the comfort through food is because you don't feel safe, and each time you feel stressed and you get really not so grounded and very, you're just like as if you are being uprooted, and you feel constantly stressed out and you looking for comfort through the food. And then it's very likely, then when you have that, very likely, especially a woman, goes for food for their comfort, and which make things worse. So that's another clear sign. And the sixth sign is if you don't feel like exercising, or if you don't feel like really moving, that is another reason. Like some people, they don't feel like really, they have so much resistance towards working out or move their body. That's definitely another clear sign that you're very you have an imbalance in your first chakra, which you need to deal with. And so there'll be so much, if you want to do yoga or like some workout or some running or anything like that, you will get a lot of resistance towards trying to do that, because it's like people who have a first chakra imbalance, they are very less likely, here's the thing, there could be there's even the imbalance goes to deficient side as excessive side. I'm not going to talk about that today, but I want to share with you when it comes to exercise and moving your body, people who have an imbalance in the first chakra, they have very resistance towards it. And then the seventh one is it's about support. If you find it difficult to ask support from other people, when you want to do something in your life, sometimes we need support. We can't do everything on our own. We need to depend on other people and things like that. And if you have a wound around support, and in the past that you try to ask for support and people rejected and things like that, now it's very unlikely that sometimes get resistance for you to go and ask for support and you try to do everything on your own. And that is another sign, you know, if you have a first chakra imbalance, very likely you try to do everything on your own without depending on other people and other people's support. It's important that if you want to do something, it's like, ask for the support, go to someone and ask for it, and you deserve it. You know, don't try to do everything on your own, because even if you're struggling emotionally or something like that, just go seek support from someone. There are many people, many empathetic and beautiful people out there who can support you. So ask for support. You know, don't struggle by yourself. Just go ask for support. And if you feel resistant to ask support, that's another chakra imbalance. And then the eighth one is like if you have many fears in your life, let's say you have fears about the height, you have fears about public speaking, and you have fears about roots, and you have fears about like many things in life, you know, even little things, you know, fears about like cats, animals, and so there are many things like that. So if you have so many fears in your life, which you like fears about snakes, and you know, if you have many fears like that, that's another definite sign that you have a first chakra imbalance, you know. And so for example, like one time I was dealing with a client who had a phobia around roots, and she has done a reading with someone, and she has shared that it was coming from even from the last birth. So she didn't have much hope, because she tried many things in order to like release this phobia, but she came and worked with me about like roots, you know, like that was a clear sign there was the imbalance in the first chakra. And so we dealt for like maybe I could say 1 month, and she completely released that fear, and finally she was touching the roots, you know. So that really released a lot of fear out of her system. And that fear just, that is like, you know, like when it comes, like fear is something, when you have a lot of fears, that means that is really taking up a lot of space, you know. This same fear can be converted into another energy, and you can use this potential. This is your potential energy which is trapped inside you. And I remember when she was releasing that phobia, there's a lot of like energy, and she was releasing a lot, which really helped her. So it's very important you're releasing these fears from your system, because the fear, I told you, the first chakra, why it gets blocked is due to fear. So you need to face your fears. It's very important. Face your fears. Like, go face to face with your fears. The fear itself will just run away. So anyway, the next one, if you have many health challenges, that is another one sign that shows that there's imbalance in your first chakra. You know, if you feel like you're constantly getting sick, and you don't feel so, we have many conditions and many health challenges all the time, and you need to see a doctor every like twice a week or something like that. That is another reason. That is another symptom that you have an imbalanced first chakra. Yeah. And then the I could say the 10th sign would be like let's say if you feel quite negative in life in general, that is another sign that you have an imbalance in your first chakra, you know. And like if like you can see that, no, like sometimes there are places that you need to, there'll be places where you feel negative, obviously, but if you're getting more negative compared to average person, that's very likely that you have an imbalance in your first chakra. Yep. It's like worrying, constantly worrying. Sometimes even there's nothing to worry, like things are going smoothly, but still you're worrying. That means you're trapped in your head. You need to come down to the body and get grounded. You know, you're way too up here. So get down to the body. It's very important. And then the 11th one is you don't feel ease in your own body. You don't feel like not so ease in your own body. You don't feel so comfortable being in your own skin, I could say. That's another sign that you have first chakra imbalance. Do you feel like you don't feel like comfortable being in your own body? Like maybe you don't like the way how you look or something like that. You don't feel really comfortable being in your own body. That's another one. That's why you can be trapped in here, whereas you don't really come down to your body. Like let's say maybe sometimes there could be many pain that is trapped inside your body, so you are like, rather than coming into your body and feeling how you feel in your body, it's better you stay up in here. You know, it feels more comfortable staying up here than coming down and start feeling those pains that you're repressing inside you. And then the next sign is if you feel very disconnected with the nature and you don't really feel connected with the nature when you walk, like you feel connection with the trees, with the sun, with the like clouds, and like, you know, you feel that connection. You know what I mean, right? People who are watching my channel are very intuitive and they know what I'm talking about. They are very comfortable talking about energies and things like that. So you know whether you're connected or disconnected. There are clients who shares with me sometimes like they literally feel like very disconnected sometimes, you know, and also they say I'm very connected now with the nature and things like that. So people can definitely understand what I mean when I say that they feel very disconnected with the nature. If you're definitely constantly living up here in your head, that means definitely you will be disconnected with the nature. So walk on walk on nature barefoot and things like that. But I won't go to that, like giving solutions how you can balance the first chakra, but these are the signs like there's an imbalance in your first chakra. Becoming more aware about, being aware about itself makes a huge difference, I could say. So like go through this list and see whether do you really have an imbalance or not. It would be very, very helpful, because if you want to walk on this spiritual journey, balancing these chakras would be very, very helpful. So I hope this video helped you, and I would share with you how you can resolve and bring balance into your first chakra in the future. So have a great day and take care.